Hello and welcome back to Book Games Spectator. Today we're going to take a look at what's been sold over the past 24 hours. Okay, so it's not a lot to work with actually. Yeah, let's maybe do the last 5 days, 6 days. Okay, so we have a Patience Pig at 0.02 ETH. Okay. And kind of we're scrolling and we're perusing. We're saying what has been sold, what do we see that stands out? For me, I really like the rainbow frames. Those are one of my favorites. So in a future video, we're definitely gonna have to do a deep dive in terms of when and where your sensibilities come in terms of how you look and track different objects within the marketplace. Some people, they might say, oh, okay, well, it's a marble. I really enjoy that. Or maybe they say, okay, well, I think I can do better with a high velocity play where I'm sort of accumulating a lot of woods. So many different strategies for people's uh, personal needs for where they're at in the marketplace. So this is interesting. Whenever I see diamonds, or excuse me, is that a hologram? Yeah, I'm like, oh, interesting. But I really don't necessarily even know what I'm looking at in this present moment. Humility. Okay, so yeah, let's use this as an example. Let's take a Humility-Lava-Granite and see what's going on. Okay, let's pull that back. Let's go Humility lava and then granite. Actually, I saw something I want to say. Oh, it's listing times. Okay, this is what's been listed. And this is an interesting way just to give you a visual representation of what's going on, to see if there are any patterns that can stand out to you. In this context, I'm not necessarily assimilating that much data, if only because it's based on the listing time. So if I sort it by price, we can see, okay, humility, lava, and then everything else is all. So it starts at $76 or 0.022 ETH. Interesting. Oh, interesting. So to use this as an example, what were we saying? We're saying normally we would just, okay, well, how do we get our bearings? We're saying we're taking a look at the most recent activity to kind of give us a baseline. Anything that stands out, things that kind of look nice, you're like, oh, that looks nice. This one, I really thought that this was cool. And it had an incredibly good price point. But some of the ones that just might be folded up into obscurity, if you will. I'm thinking about, like, in many respects, some of the lavas in terms of just burn events, but also in terms of the aesthetics. Sometimes when you look at the ratios, you're like, the ratios are the same, if not sometimes better, but in terms of the aesthetics, somebody might choose a gold spectacular as opposed to a lava spectacular. So let's double back. really, in setting up a baseline, you could start anywhere. And to be frank, I want to kind of use this as a time to kind of work out some of my thoughts so I can make a more polished video. But in this context, we're starting from the beginning. We're saying, okay, well, what do we even know about a humility lava? And then we're kind of trying to chart that as a baseline. So let me re-jog it. This is what the market is currently publishing in terms of its order book. Someone is saying, I'm willing to float Humility is Delicious with the Lava Spectacular in a neon background. Oh, interesting. Where is that? Excuse me, in a rainbow background, okay. So yeah, let's take this further and let's do some due diligence to kind of see if we can wrap our hands around what this even represents in terms of its capacity. Okay, so now we're gonna say, okay, we start with humility, but we also want to focus on the rainbow background. Okay, so this is interesting. We're seeing a humility being floated with the rainbow background in lava for about not point. Excuse. We gotta figure out that as a terminology. Okay, so not 0.3555 for this humility is delicious. Okay, let's sort by listing. Let's see what's going on. Where's the N? Okay, so what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So there's currently only 35 within the marketplace. What's the rarity? Humility. Oh, interesting. The Holo has the same ratio as the gold. So that's interesting to note. Sort by price. Oh, so technically this might be a steal. Well, I'm hesitant to use that type of language. Okay, we said the gold was the same, humility. The gold was the same as the Holo. Okay, so where would we go next from here? We would probably want to do a cross-reference in between gold and Holo. What are we thinking about? We're thinking of, since we're talking about humility is delicious. So we're looking at here and we're saying, okay, the Holos have the same as the gold. So I'm thinking, what does that mean in terms of the ratios? Let's try it out in terms of the spectacular. Hologram, gold. Let's see. No. Let's see the activity. I wonder if that's a UX thing. Well, either way, okay. So we're saying, whoa, that's kind of crazy. Wait, okay, activity, sale time price, okay, newest to oldest. So how many have actually been sold total? I wonder, I don't know if this contains the total order book of all time, but so far it looks like the first one was not 0.5 ETH. Okay, and then rows of 5, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 72-ish. Interesting, but there's not a lot of market movement going on with this. 2 years ago, baseline around 0.6 ETH, 0.3 in terms of the market cycle. 0.2 from 2 years ago, 0.1 from 1 year ago. This is interesting. That was a steal. Whoever caught this one, that was pretty good. Okay, so let's double back to the marketplace itself. Okay, that does explain the pricing. See, and that's what makes it so fascinating and interesting, because you're looking at the order book and you're saying, okay, well, it's floated. But based on the total supply count, it's hard to kind of get your hands around, okay, but like, what about all the ones that people are custodian and yet they're just, they could just place it on the market at any time. It's just like weighing that as the shadow order book in relation to like some sort of time inertia. But that's interesting to see. Yeah, there's if you look at the math, theoretically there's the same in the supply for humility for gold and hollow, but because the rarity is at 3.90, uh, I'm trying to crunch the math to think about that. But I mean, this is just what's on the market, not what has been sold. So we could crunch the math in that context to see. Okay, so what's the ratio between uh, these? Actually, yeah, let's do it. Okay, so we're saying 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, around 35, okay. And we got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay, interesting. Okay, so let's go back. So, what was the point of all of this? We started off and we saw humility in lava as the spectacular and in rainbow. And that kind of sparked our curiosity because we're like, oh, okay, well, the ratios are like, oh, the hollow is the same as the gold. So we're thinking, yeah, theoretically, this is definitely a floor buy in its class to the extent there's not a lot in circulation. But it makes me think about what it would mean for me to wrap my hands around the total market supply so that I could kind of understand what's going on in that context. But if you look here again, you can kind of see how these are positioned in relation to how we kind of framed it out earlier. So this is interesting to take a look at humility in the rainbow frame. So I guess what's the takeaway? Is humility in the rainbow frame for gold? Is this a good buy? Yeah, we're thinking. Okay, instead of saying a steal, we'll have to come up with some new language. Maybe 1 out of 5. Is this a good buy? But yeah, the next for the hollow is 1,000, or excuse me, 0.35 ETH. So we'll have to see. Until next time.